Hello, my tennis patients. Welcome back to another video. And, I'm really, proud of the community we've built on here. And if you are, watching my videos and learning, you're definitely a smart tennis player. Here we have a very smart tennis player. His name is Ronald. And Ronald's been playing tennis for almost 68 years. And he's one of my tennis students. I did some shot video analysis with him. And, he played tournaments when he was younger. He had the confidence that when he walked out on the court, he would win. And now, in his older years, he occasionally plays tournaments. And he recently reached out to me because he had found he had lost a lot of his confidence. And this is the same story with a lot of people that actually reach out to me. And Ronald used my YouTube videos to rebuild a solid foundation, which he lost and has since, somewhat regained. And when he came to me, his shots were pretty inconsistent, and his ground strokes and serve, they lacked some power. He did, however, have some pretty beautiful volleys, and you can see them right here. Pretty textbook stuff. And he was a pretty good doubles player when he was younger, hence his great technique on his volleys. And so what happened was Ron sent me a video analysis of all of his strokes. I identified all the holes in his game, and I sent him a very detailed video lesson for him to learn from. What I'm showing you guys is the result of his determination and great work ethic, and it's a great lesson that it's never too late to have a perfect swing, and you can even do it online. We're going to take a look at Ronald's forehand and backhand, and he pretty much checks all the boxes. And we're still working on some things and getting him to the next level so that he can start doing a lot better in tournaments. So I'm also going to point out a few things that he could still be doing a bit better because me and him are still working together. So we're going to watch Ronald hit a few balls here. He's got a great stroke and it's gotten a lot smoother, a lot better. He finds that it's a lot more consistent and he misses less. And great setup there. We're going to slow it down and we're just going to analyze the things that he does well and also the things that could still be improved. So right here, boom. Great setup. He's coiled, his body, his shoulders are turned, his hips are starting to turn as well. And when he goes, boom, the racket face stays in front of the hand, which is very important, right? He's not pulling it back here. Not yet, at least. And he's using his non-dominant arm parallel with the baseline. And he's also delaying the step by being up on his toe, which is very important, actually. Okay, it's going to help him pivot. And boom. So right here is where I still think things could be a little bit abbreviated. Something he's doing quite well, though, is maintaining this space under the arm. Before, this spot back here was closed. It was tucked in, and I think he was getting jammed, but now it's a lot more loose and he's swinging a lot more free. So that's one thing that he's definitely corrected. But I want you guys to see this right here where the racket dropping phase could be a little bit better, okay? So boom. He does close the strings, but see how the racket falls behind his hand? Ideally in this phase, what we want to do is come up here again. I'll show you. Boom. We want to get the racket to fall down and close here, okay? Instead of it going back here first. Now, he still does a great job, though, when he goes. And you'll see that his racket is going to be the last part of his kinetic chain. He's done a great job loading the legs and hips, which, when he first sent me his videos, he was not engaging his lower body enough. This arm could still be up as well. But as you can see, he knows that he has to lift his legs first. He has to twist his hips into the shot. And he is turned to his target, right? Because he's just hitting straight ahead right now. And everything is straightened out. His legs have straightened out. Okay, his hips have aligned. And all of this happened before contact. So that's really good. Watch that back again. Boom. Pretty good stuff. I would say that this hand could be up there it should be probably, in around his shoulder. But again, not too bad at all. And from here, he does get the windshield wiper. Nice. And as you can see, after he hits the ball, boom, we get this almost a straight line, with the wrist and the racket face. And we did recently go over this a few days ago, how he's trying to cover the ball more in the windshield wiper, which is so more important, right? Just like this small correction, the windshield wiper technique is really helping him to not miss the ball long anymore. And he has a great, low finish. He doesn't catch the racket, all the way up to the heavens. He catches it, just around his shoulder level, which is really, really good. So yeah. Now, to clarify what I was talking about when I said that, the racket is going behind the hand and the racket drop, I'm going to show you guys a video of Federer and kind of explain exactly what I mean. So if you see from this point, right, Ronald gets in the same position, but at this point, Federer's racket is going to come straight down and it's going to stay in front of his hand. And let's watch it happen. Boom. And the racket has not passed, this imaginary line right here. But at this point in Ronald's swing, his racket is back here. So he is missing out on added whip and pronation because the racket's going to get in that position, which Ronald was setting it in, but he's setting it a little bit too early because if you see, it's still in this position. The racket face is still directly in front of the hand. We don't want it back here, okay? And before, Ronald it was even worse. Like he was wrapping the racket behind his back like a lot of players do. So it's gotten a lot better, but there's still much room for improvement. And you can see Federer still has the racket in front of his hand. And now we're going to see he starts his kinetic chain with the racket in front of the hand so that when he goes, it's going to get into the same position that Ronald gets. Only Ronald is doing it a little bit too early because now this is the best way that I can describe lag to you. It's keeping the racket in front of the hand so we don't lock our wrist too early. If you can see, Federer's wrist is back. It's loose and relaxed, right? There's no curl in the wrist, not yet. But when he goes and drives the body, now we're going to get this letter L, and we're going to be able to see it perfectly here. Boom. So this letter L, this is the position that essentially Ronald and a lot of people set way too early by putting the racket behind their hand before they drive the body. Now, at this point, Ronald and Federer pretty much look the same, but it's just kind of what happens before, which is a byproduct of, how much easy power and swing efficiency that we can get. But from there, it's pretty much the same. Both Ronald and Federer have, have uncoiled their body fully at contact point, and they pretty much get in the same position. But you see Federer's hand is still up here, and you're going to see it come into his shoulder as well, but pretty good. And then we get the same, common thread of Ronald and Federer with the wrist is flat, and they both cover the ball, okay, with the windshield wiper phase. It's the only way to get topspin, stop catching the racket all the way up there, and we're going to get hand-to-hand with a low, under the shoulder, at shoulder level finish. So that's really great. Now let's look at Ronald's backhand. If you would like to work with me one-on-one and have me analyze your shots through video analysis just like this, click the link down below.